right now.
Welcome back to the GSMC Golf Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Garrison McDaniel, and we are off to our third segment of the night, talking about Scottie Scheffler withdrawing from the Genesis Scottish Open. So why did he withdraw? Well, he is on vacation. Much earned vacation. However, I'm a little bit shocked about this. He decided to take vacation this week. He went to Colorado with Meredith, his newborn son. Of course, Meredith Scheffler being his wife, his newborn son, and a couple of buddies. They did play golf. He has he posted some pictures on Twitter about it. So he decided to go on vacation this weekend leading up to a major instead of actually go. Here's the thing. The reason that this field is so, full for this weekend compared to what we've, it's a similar event to the Rocket Mortgage Classic the Rocket Mortgage or the John Deere Classic. All three of these events aren't signature events. I mean, all of them have a $9 million purse. All of them are only worth 500 FedEx Cup points. None of them are the elevated fields that we are used to seeing here. So why are we seeing this full field? Well, it is a tournament in Scotland. You know what also is in Scotland literally in 1 week from now? The Open Championship, the fourth and final major of the year. That's why all these guys are there. That's the only reason. These guys are getting acclimated to the conditions that you're going to face in Scotland, because it is difficult to go from playing in America every single week to going and playing in overseas. The courses play completely different compared to America to England. So to see Scottie Scheffler decide to not play this weekend, I'm shocked about it. And what I mean, it's his decision, and good on him to take time for his family. Since he became a father, he became a father a few weeks ago now. He said in an interview, I think maybe my prep would have been a little bit better for this week if I was at home after the U.S. Open. He said that I'm obviously not going to skip Jack's tournament. It's a tournament I love playing. It's a tournament that I'm humbled to be a champion at. I feel like going forward, I'll maybe do things a little bit differently in the weeks leading up to the majors, especially when it's going to be a challenging setup at a U.S. Open. So he talked about after the U.S. Open, after he played pretty poorly in the U.S. Open, finishing pretty far down. He finished T41 at the U.S. Open, that he felt like the preparation was a little off, doing things a little bit differently, being a little bit more at home leading up to it would have been better for him, and that's why he plays poorly. So that's why, the assumption for why he isn't at the Genesis Scottish Open, but I still think I don't know, I think it's a shocking decision. It's his decision. I'm not going to say if it's the correct or the wrong decision, because at the end of the day, he knows better about his life and his golf game than I ever could. But I'm still a little bit shocked about it, because you have the PGA Tour does this schedule on purpose. Like, it's well thought out, right? You have guys sit in a room to come up with things like this, like, well, if you're going to send them overseas, you're going to want them to be implemented. We don't know what he is doing for this weekend. We know that he was in Colorado for a vacation last week and at the early parts of this week, but we don't know what he's doing this weekend, whether or not he is getting implemented to the time change, because that's another big thing. He lives in Texas, which is Central Time. That is 6 hours difference from Texas to overseas. When he goes overseas, he loses 6 hours in a day. So I would say get over there as quick as possible, because that's difficult. You feel jet lag when you go from New York to LA. And then, I mean, to go from Texas to Scotland is way different. So we'll see what, comes from this, how, what preparation he does leading up to it. Once again, I mean, he knows his body way better than I do. He knows his mind way better than I do. So you got to just trust that he's making the right decision. But it is still a decision that I'm shocked about. So, I mean, just for this, what does it mean for, Scottie Scheffler? He's already won 6 times this year. What does a major mean for him, though? Well, it would be okay. If he were to be able to win his second major of the year, this would be one of the best seasons in tour history. Scheffler needs to win 3 more times this season in order to match Tiger Woods and Vijay Singh for 9 wins in a PGA Tour season. That seems pretty unlikely, but you do have 4 more tournaments that he'll be playing in 2024. You have the Open Championship, you have the FedEx St. Jude Championship where he'll have or it's the Tour Championship that he'll have a 2-stroke lead. But BMW Championship and the Tour Championship. So 4 more events. If he can win 3 of those, that would be absolutely insane. But in his last 10 PGA Tour starts, he's won 6 events. He won at the Arnold Palmer. He won at the Players Championship. He won at the Masters, RBC Heritage, the Memorial, and the Travelers. Failing to win at the Houston Open, the Charles Schwab, by only 1 spot. Both of those were T2 events for him. He's having a fantastic season. I mean, he has already beaten a record that by Woods that many deem to be unbeatable with the most money earned in a season. So it's impressive just what he's doing, but he has had an opportunity now to, do something historic, and he just isn't able, he just isn't putting himself in the best positions to do it, which is a little bit disappointing. But hey, once again, I don't know if he's really thinking about having the most PGA Tour wins in a season. I just think that he wants really the majors for him. He wants to be able to win things that are, it's more legacy building to win a major than to win 8 events in a season. He's already won 6, which is, I think, only Tiger Woods and Vijay Singh have 6 or more wins in a season. So he's already has done something that only 3 people now have done, and only 2 before him. So already doing some legendary stuff. I'm excited to see Scottie Scheffler play. All this to say, I just want to see the history in the making. It's always fun to see that, and him not playing this weekend means that we are just delaying, if history were to happen, we're delaying it another week, which is a little bit unfortunate. But he does withdraw from the Genesis Scottish Open. There are 4 events now that he will be playing in. He will also be able to play in the Olympics, so whether or not you're going to count that if he does win gold medal there, whether or not you would count that at or as a something on his resume for this year. I think that could be a discussion as well, because he is having one of the best seasons that we've seen on the PGA Tour, excluding Tiger Woods, ever. So very impressive stuff from Scottie Scheffler. He is the number 1 player in the world, but he will not be at the Genesis Scottish Open because he's with his family. You got to give it to the man. He just had a newborn son. You do want to spend time with a newborn son. It does make sense. So that'll wrap it up for the 3rd segment of the night, talking about Scottie Scheffler withdrawing from the Genesis Scottish Open. When I come back from my 3rd break of the night, we'll be talking about the rest of the world in golf this weekend.